Stand up, be loud. Don't be afraid, be proud. Be the change, start today. Make a difference in a positive way.
What type of bullying do you see here at your school? I mean, pretty much every school has some bullying going on. What kind of bullying do you see? Right.
Sometimes, but not really that often. Sometimes kids exclude other ones from their activities. Like if you walk up to some of them and you ask them what they're doing, they say nothing.
And when they say nothing, that's kind of like go away, really. Or you're not wanted. I think it would make me feel like I'm not wanted here.
Sometimes it's like cliques or groups, so there might be, you put your tray down at a lunch table and then everyone else goes to a different table, so they won't be with you.
Do they really do that?
Yeah.
Like you would go sit down at I thought that just happens in movies. No? That really happens. Has that ever happened to you? Like you've gone and be sure and speak up here a little bit louder so we can hear you. But you've gone and actually sat down at a table in the lunchroom and girls, get up and walk away.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Well, usually I just go where they are and make myself a part of the group because I don't have to isolate myself.
Okay. All right, and you're right. We shouldn't have to do that. Can you explain, or somebody else for me, explain what a clique is at your school? If you talk about a clique, what does that mean?
It's like a group of friends that hang out and usually don't let anyone else hang around them.
Okay. All right. Well, pretty much what she just described right there is a clique. It could be any type of group of people who just kind of like to do their own thing and they won't let others be a part. In the pink shirt?
Well, when I first came here at my old school, I was new and it was kind of hard to find friends because not very many people wanted to be my friend because I was from a different state. And then when I got to this school, I met Keelan and Grace over here, and we became friends very quickly.
Yeah.
I also have to say something about Kennedy's. Usually that does happen, and it's kind of, and my friends and I, we try, if the table's too crowded, we think of different ideas to get all our friends in one place so we can all talk together.
Yeah. How does that make you feel when you see somebody else being excluded like that?
It makes me feel upset because I've been excluded many times.
Mm-hmm. And you know what that feels like, right? So one thing that we could do to stand up and be proud is actually be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. If I'm going to be a person who's going to be a leader on my campus and a leader at school, any group I'm in, whether you're here at school, you're at a church, you're at a family get-together, wherever you are, looking for people who need help and help them in whatever way we can. I noticed also, and what was your name again? I'm sorry, in the pink shirt right there, Nike?
Oh, me?
Your name's Nike.
Christina.
Christina, as soon as you said, you were talking about your old school and you had this frown on your face, and then as soon as you said this school and you met those people, you immediately started smiling, and they started smiling. That's making a change right there, and that is contagious, like Miles said. That's what we want to do. We want to be around people who make us feel good, not bad. Now, here's one difference I want to point out before we go on. Sometimes, we think that if someone doesn't want to play with us, that's bullying. And it's really not bullying if somebody doesn't want to play with us one day. Maybe, I had friends that some days I might want to play football, and the next day I want to go play dodgeball. Or maybe one day I don't want to play at all. And it doesn't mean that I'm not being their friend. I might just want to do something different, And so I think a lot of times we feel like, or I didn't get invited to a party. Well, that's not really bullying. If you don't get invited. Now, if somebody is organizing this, and what I mean by that is if a group of people get together and say, we're not going to play with that person, or we don't want to include that person, that would be bullying. But if you just decide, you know, I don't want to go play over there today, I want to go play over here, that would not be bullying. Does that make sense? There's a difference there. When I was like 3rd grade, I'd lived at this home for like 2 or 3 years, and I was really good friends with this one guy. And then in 6th grade, I moved, and he was my best friend. And I moved to another neighborhood, and I just, you know, I was not around him. It was not that I didn't like him anymore or anything like that. We just didn't hang out because I couldn't see him very often. And then back in when we finally got to middle school, we went to the same middle school, and we saw each other. But I had developed other friendships, and so then I introduced him to those friends, and, you know, we kind of all hung out together. But that's just the normal part of growing up. And sometimes it hurts our feelings if maybe somebody develops another friendship with somebody else. But that's that's really not bullying. That's just part of relationship building as we get older.
At the school, there is also a lot of name calling and stuff like that.
How do you deal with name calling?
I would usually go to the nearest adult and tell them, or just ask them to please stop what they're doing and go to tell them.
I think asking them to stop, here's a mistake I think sometimes people make, is they'll ask them to stop, but I have people come to me, I work as a counselor, and I'll have people come to me, high school guys and girls, and maybe this girl comes to me and says, every day at lunch, this girl's bullying me, she calls me names, she makes fun of me, she does this. But you know what? Every day that girl sits by that girl. So one thing that I would do, what would you suggest if you were the counselor?
I would probably suggest either say stop, or if it doesn't work, just ignore it.
Okay, ignore it. What else?
Stay as far away as possible from
Yeah, she said stay as far away. I would get away. If somebody, you know, if I'm standing here and he's bullying me and he keeps calling me names and stuff, I don't have to stand there. He would have to literally hold me there. So one thing I would do was try to get out of there. Now sometimes you're in the classroom or whatever, and there's certain situations you can't. I wouldn't ignore it very long. I wouldn't even advise you to ignore it. There's a difference between ignoring it and not letting it get to you. When it gets to you, what do we look like? What's going on? If somebody knows they're getting to you, how do we look?
Sad.
You look sad?
Sometimes you get mad.
You get mad. Some people blow up, and like some people cry, don't they?
Here.
You get scared, right? Carla?
Oh, if I were you as the counselor, I would ask her why she would keep sitting over there, and if she had any friends, and if she had any other friends, then I would ask her to go and sit with even the boys, like go and ask them if she can go and sit over there.
Even sit with the boys? Wow, that must be extreme. It had to be bad.
If she's really that sad,
Yeah.
she would probably want to go and sit with anybody.
I think, you know, one thing that I encourage these girls to do when I talk with them about that, and guys too, is really celebrate the friendships that you have. Be happy about the good friends that you have. And we look at each other and we smile and you think, wow, that's a good friend, instead of focusing on the friendships that are not going so well. Because what happens, some people will go, well, I don't have any friends. And they do, but they're just wanting this person to be their friend, and that person is just messed up, or something's going on with them. It's not their fault, you know. Sometimes people try to put it off on us like we're the problem, you know, but nobody deserves to be picked on, and nobody deserves to be bullied.
Be the change, start today. Make a difference in a positive way.